So you want to teach a co-op class, but you don't know what to teach. I'm really excited to bring you this episode of the Life Unboxed podcast because I'm going to give you 25 easy, most of them are easy, okay? Full disclosure, most of them are easy. You may have a couple of harder ones in there. But I'm going to give you a list of 25 co-op class ideas that you can put together, and you don't need to be an expert. Hey, Mom. So welcome to the Life Unboxed podcast, where we talk about all things momtrepreneur, from raising your kids to running a business, and the most important one, keeping your sanity. I am Jodie the mom, a successful virtual assistant and homeschool mom of 6 for almost 10 years now. I can't believe it either. So my goal is to give you as much help as possible so you can confidently start a business and homeschool your kids. So be sure to visit lifeunboxed.blog and download your free Mom Boss 2.0 workbook, and it'll also put you on my exclusive mailing list where I share content with only those on the list. So if you want all the great momtrepreneur content, be sure to download that. And if you're a rebel mom and like to break all the rules, then this workbook is for you. And remember, you can support the show with coffee, because I need lots of it. Visit Ko-fi, that's ko-fi.com/lifeunboxedblog, and you can buy this mom a coffee. And I haven't started this yet, but if you head on over to ko-fi.com/lifeunboxedblog and you want to start supporting me with coffee, and maybe you want some extra content or an extra question and answer that's only available to supporters, let me know. Okay, so let's get into this week's topic. So co-op classes are a great way to add socialization to your homeschool. And of course, I have a show for that one. And it's great for your kids and for you. Most of my homeschool mom friends, I have met them through co-op. So I know it can feel overwhelming at first. You aren't sure how to teach a homeschool co-op class. Don't worry, I got you on that one too. Link will be in the description below. Or you just don't know what you can offer. But don't worry, Mom, because I got you. I'm going to give you some homeschool co-op class ideas that you can run with. But first, let's talk about the benefits of joining a co-op, because I do think it's important. So I know it may not be for everybody, but I'm here to convince you that it is for you, and then you can decide. So I am a tremendous supporter of families joining a co-op because there are so many benefits of participating in co-op. Your kids get a chance to take classes you may not have time to add to your homeschool day, or that you may not want to teach. I mean, seriously, who wants your kids dissecting frogs on your kitchen counters? Like, really? I don't. And your kids get to experience another parent's expertise. Co-op classes really offer wide range of subjects to choose from, whether you are already interested in the subject or you might be interested in it. A co-op will give you an opportunity to find out. And let's face it, Mom, we are the best teachers for our kids, but it is nice when we don't need to teach every subject. When you can pass it off to someone that you trust to teach your kids in a like-minded way. So one subject that I always encourage my kids to take in our co-op is science, because I am not a fan of doing science experiments, and I have a whole nother show on that one too. The kids get a chance to do fun experiments, and I don't have to teach it or clean up after the fire extinguisher is let loose. So it is a win-win. If you don't know where to find a co-op, I will leave a link in the description below for hslda.org, and they have a list of co-ops and homeschool organizations that you can search by your state. So it is a great resource. And if that still doesn't work for you, check on Facebook. There will be so many local groups on Facebook. I promise you. There's like 3 in my area alone that I'm a part of. So definitely the link will be in the description below. So check that out. So without further ado, here are 25 homeschool co-op class ideas. And definitely, I know as if you're listening or you're watching on YouTube, you're not going to remember all of these. So go over to lifeunboxed.blog and this whole list will be on the website. Okay, so here are co-op class ideas that I've taught or the kids have participated in or they've just been in our co-op. So I try to offer as many ideas for the specific classes. So bonus there, I'm not just throwing stuff at you without getting the juices flowing for you. I'm going to get those creative balls rolling and then you need to go the rest of the way. So if you are unsure on how to actually teach it and structure it, then definitely read, watch, or listen to How to Teach a Homeschool Co-op Class. So in that show, I give you like the entire structure of the class and how to do it. And it really can be applied. It's not just for art. It can be applied to any subject that you want to teach. Okay, so let's start with art homeschool co-op classes because this is what I've been teaching for many, many semesters now. And so from my experience of teaching, I did put together a curriculum that is available for you to use in your homeschool or to teach a co-op class. So there is the downloads are subject to different pricing for a co-op, so be sure to email me and get all that information if you want to use it. But I will show you. So it is everything that you need except for the actual books to teach a class. So this is what it looks like. And for my podcast listeners, I am showing the lap book that I have created for the kids to use during the class. And I will leave the link in the description below so you can head on over to lifeunboxed.blog. And there's a video on there that'll show you the whole lap book too. So you don't have to necessarily watch this. You can get a sneak peek at what's inside over there. So then we open it up, and this is where they have artist puzzles. They have the flip books where they track the artwork. They have a movement wheel. They have coloring books. So all of this is part of the curriculum. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to make anything. You do have to print and cut everything out on your own. So I can't do that for you. But here is the best part about this class. You don't need to be an artist to teach it. I am not an artist, although my husband tells me that I have an inner creative that is tired of being held hostage and trying to break free. So we're still trying to figure out how this creative is going to break free. But I am really not an artist, yet I love teaching this class. It is very hands-on because my philosophy is occupied hands listen better. Help with listening ears. And it just from the experience, because it's been taught, I've taught this with elementary students, that it is true. Occupied hands make better listeners. So if you want to dip your toes into the waters of teaching, then this is a perfect homeschool co-op class to start with. And I'm not just saying it because I made it. This has been tried and tested and proven to be true. So, and also as part of the curriculum package, I also give you the art ideas and how to do them. So again, they're tested, so you won't end up with pentastrophes. Been there, done that. Okay, so that was the first one. Let's get some coffee. Class number 2 is comic book drawing. So this one does require some talent. Maybe. I really think that you could kind of push it. If you like telling stories or you just like comic books, I think you can teach this. So if you have the talent or if you just love comic books, then this would be such a fun class to teach. And you can get the pages off Pinterest or you can easily make them yourself. It really is pretty easy to do. You can use Canva, any resource, any program that will allow you to create boxes on a page will work. And you can teach creative writing through the medium of comic book writing. So let your imagination run wild. And if you feel like you're not going to have enough to fill a whole class, add biographies of famous comic book writers. Stan Lee comes to mind, or the history of comic books, different things like that. The history of illustration, you can add those throughout your semester. So use the entire semester for the students to write an entire comic book. And that can be 10 pages, it can be 20 pages. However you want to do it, they can work on it each week. Number 3, perspective drawing. So this does require some expertise, but it is a very popular class for middle school and high school age. So if you have the skills, then teach this class. You don't need to be an expert though. Just have a basic understanding of how to do it. All right, so number 4 is model building. And I swiped some of my son's models so I can show you what they look like. So my boys have loved this class, and it is just small metal models. You can find them at Hobby Lobby, or I know they're on Amazon as well. So this is what they look like. That's one. Here's another one. And for my podcast listeners, I'm just showing small metal models. One was a spaceship, and the other was an AT-AT from Star Wars. So there's a lot of variety that you can find. And again, Hobby Lobby, you can probably find them at Michael's too, or Joann's. So basically, they just worked on these models during class. So in each class, the teacher maybe would give them some help, show them what to do. That's what they did. That was the entire class. So you don't need any skills for this, just an ability to read instructions. And this was a very popular class, especially with the boys in co-op. So number 5, arts and crafts. This is one of those classes that you can do anything with and with any age group. So get cozy on the couch and start scrolling through Pinterest to get some inspiration. I do always recommend that you test out your pinspiration before you actually use them in class, because you may have some pintastrophes, which I have had. But just pick an arts and crafts. Just pick a project, one for every class. And if you want to theme it. You can really do anything with this class. Christmas ornaments. This is number 6. So this is another fun class for any age group. And again, it really only requires scrolling through Pinterest, testing your Pinterest pins, and then picking which ones to make. And you work on one each week. Number 7 is scrapbooking. So for one semester, my daughter took a scripture scrapbooking class, so no pictures required. So they wrote out different Bible verses and then decorated the pages. So it was really easy to do. The teacher had like black paper notebooks, and each week they just designed their different pages. And I think the best part that she enjoyed was the teacher had made it an all-girls class. And for her, it was just a lot of fun to just be with girls. You have to understand, she has 4 brothers and 1 sister who's 10 years younger than her. So for her to get just girl time is very rare. So that was what made this class very fun for her. Okay, so let's switch gears from art and let's get into literature and communication co-op classes. So this is number 8 on our list. Book club. Pick the age and then pick a book that you would want to read and discuss. So the kids read a portion of the book during the week, then you meet to discuss what they read. So if you love to read, this would be a great class to teach, and the only materials required, unless you want to add more activities is the book. So easy peasy. Number 9, creative writing. So moms everywhere will thank you for offering this class in co-op, because for several parents, it is a very hard subject to teach. Having someone else help with this is every parent's dream. Again, you can teach them about genre, you can teach them about dialogue, you can teach them about story. However you want to do it, you can really mold this class and make it what you want it to be. Number 10 is drama. So this is always one of the most popular co-op classes, especially among middle school and high school students. You don't need to be skilled in drama. We've all watched plenty of movies. We know how to do it. So pick a script or short skits, and I will say this, short skits tend to work better, and work on them week to week, and then at the end, perform them for the entire group. Kids love to perform. This is a hit. Number 11 is speech. This is one of those classes that parents appreciate more than kids, and it gives kids an opportunity to learn public speaking and how to present ideas in a logical and persuasive way. There are so many books out there that you can use to teach this class. Just pick one and use it as a guide to teach. Anyone can teach this, even if you're terrified of public speaking. Okay, so number 12 is reading journal. So a lot like book club, except this would be getting the book and having the kids actually write down what they're reading. So I have a couple of reading journals for you. So this really teaches the kids how to read a book and comprehend the story. And again, you can do so much with the class. The sky is the limit. And you aren't just limited to one book. So depending on the age group, I would pick shorter books. But your students can use this reading journal. See, this is for elementary students. And again, I also have this downloadable, and you can buy it off of Amazon. So yeah, it's available in both formats, whichever, if you decide to use it that way. But they just read a picture book during the class. You could read it out loud to them and then have them answer the questions in the journal together. So it's a great way for kids to hear someone else's perception of the story and to get better at inference and to think beyond the story. So the reading journal I just showed you, and for all my wonderful listeners, I will leave the link below so that you can look at the Amazon. You can buy it off of Amazon, or you can do the print on demand copy as well. So for older kids, I also have these. Now these are only available on Amazon. And again, for my wonderful listeners, I will leave the link below. So this one I've kind of geared more towards teen girls, this reading journal. And again, it's just questions. And I think this is a great way, especially when you're in a high school, to track all the books that you've read. Because that, as a way of record keeping for a high school transcript, it's a great way to do it. And this one's for dudes, my book tracker. I have 4 boys. I have to make a dude one. So it has pretty much the same pages. And I changed a couple of the quote pages to make them more dude appropriate, but the questions are the same. So you can get a dude journal or a teen girl journal. Questions are the same, and they can both use it in the class. So there's really so much that you can do with a reading journal class, and yet it's still low maintenance. You don't need a lot of materials. All right, so let's transition into our history and geography homeschool co-op classes. Let's get some more coffee because I'm a bit parched. 25 doesn't seem like a lot of classes until you start explaining every single one of them, and then it's like, it's a lot of classes. Okay, 13. We are halfway there, my friends. United States. I actually have a free 50-state unit study. If you want to download that, you don't have to sign up for anything. Sometimes I just like to offer things. Actually, most of the time I like to offer things that'll be helpful. without any kind of strings attached, although I would love to keep in touch with you. So sign up for the newsletter if you want to do that. But anyway, get a map and start teaching the states and capitals. So this would be an excellent elementary class. And map work is not always my top priority. So this is a great class that will really help parents out. And I love maps. And so the 50 state unit study, I don't have it with me. It's just simple notebooking pages where it asks questions about the state. You learn the state bird and the state flower and the state capital and all of those things. So you can use it in your co-op class. Number 14, teach about Europe. There's so much to teach here. Oh my goodness. You can teach history, you can teach geography, or a combination of both, even famous people from Europe. Let your creative juices flow. And there are plenty of books you can pick up from the library to teach this class. So the hard part for you is going to be limiting the amount of information you're able to share because you only have so much time. 15, Africa. There has been so much change on this continent in recent history that it is often not understood. So start with geography. Teach about the Nile and the pyramids. Talk about the animals of the continent. Again, the hardest part is figuring out what to teach and what to skip. There's so much to teach on about the African continent that you just need to go wild. You just need to run wild with it. Number 16, food from around the world. So this was a class that I actually helped in, and it was a tremendous hit. The best part is that it doesn't need to be elaborate. It can be very simple, yet still incredibly engaging and interesting. You teach a little bit about the country, introduce the food, and get the kids' feedback. And trust me, when it comes to food, kids will give you feedback. 17, state history. So even as homeschoolers, this may be a requirement in your state. So co-op is a great place to offer a class on state history. So parents get to check that box and we fulfill the requirement without actually having to teach it ourselves. So this is one of those, genuine co-op classes where you can get together and teach something that may be required as a group. And so one person is just checking that box for all the parents. 18 is government. Many high schoolers, not all, I will give you that, want to take a deeper dive into understanding how the government works. And there are several homeschool publishers that offer this as a subject. So grab one of the curriculum books and use it as a guide for topics to teach in this class. You can even add mock debates to make it more interactive, or throw a cat among the pigeons and bring a controversial topic in to discuss. So learning to listen to someone... Siri, I don't want you to understand, Siri. Okay. Learning to listen to someone else's view is a skill that we are sorely in need of. I think we can all agree with that. 19, 7 Wonders of the World. So this would be a great class to create a lap book for. So a lap book is like what I showed you for the art class. So this is a lap book, and it's basically a file folder that you open up, fold the flaps inside, and you make a book that you can collect all sorts of activities and information in. So I have been noodling around with ideas on a lap book for the 7 Wonders of the World, so I'll have to see what I can come up with. So this is a great way to learn about the world through some of the most magnificent achievements. And I will say this, the Great Wall of China is one of the 7 Wonders of the World, and I have seen it, and it is mind-blowing. It really is. Okay, take a deep breath, drink some coffee out of my Rebel Mom mug, because we are Rebel Moms. Okay. 20, major events in history. So pick what you want to teach and discuss. So this can span any age group, and you could really create a class that is fun and interesting, and engaging. So just pick some events from history. I really like the Who Is series and the What Is series. So if you need to find a book, check some of those out from the library. And major events in history, pick the ones that are available at the library at the time. It doesn't have to be complicated. All right, so let's shift gears again. Let's talk about science homeschool co-op class ideas. 21, STEM Tales. So this was a class that my sister came up with, and it was a hit. She read a story like The Three Little Pigs, and then the kids had to construct a house that the big bad wolf, a hairdryer, couldn't blow down. So for each class, a simplified engineering design process was applied, and that was design, test, and improve. So for every class, it was design, test, where can we improve? What did it fail or did it succeed? So the kids really started learning some basic principles. So that was definitely for the younger elementary group. 22, paper bag engineering. So this is a fun class, especially for hands-on learners. And I've seen this for elementary students, but it can definitely be more challenging for middle school and high school students. So you can apply these same principles, just make them harder for the older kids. So this is how it works. On a 3x5 card, write the challenge. For example, build a bridge that a Hot Wheel car can drive across, make a car that will roll, or create a container that can hold water. So inside the paper bag, you have items that you will use to build the bridge, car, or container, whatever else you come up with. So for example, popsicle sticks and liquid glue for the bridge, or pasta to build a car, a roll of tin foil to make the container. Those are just examples. So for middle school and high school students, I would add a twist to this, and I would turn the class into something like Chopped. So if you haven't seen it, this is a show on the Food Network, and chefs are given a basket of ingredients, and one is always a wild card, like smoked salmon for dessert. And they have to incorporate the salmon into a dessert in a way that tastes good, and you can actually taste it too. The judges can taste it. And they need to use every ingredient in the basket. So you can apply this same idea to the paper bag engineering and make it more challenging for older students. So throw in, I don't even know. I'm trying to think, like a handful of spaghetti noodles or something to build a bridge, and they have to incorporate that into their bridge or something like that. So I think that would be fun and engaging for students. 23, hands-on science experiments, another winner for non-science moms. So when my son was in second grade, he loved to do science experiments. He still does, but mom was not any fun. So one mom offered this as a co-op class, and it was a hit for all the kids and a relief for me. So they did exploding volcanoes, they did balloon cars, and so much more. The best part was I didn't have to teach it. That was the best part. Okay, so for our final two, these do not fit into any category except other. 24 is board games. This is always a popular class for middle school and high school students. You can do it in elementary school, but I would say it requires more engagement from the teacher. So for middle school and high school, it is super easy. Bring different board games every week, teach the kids how to play, then play them for the class. It is that simple, and they really love it. Finally, last one. We made it. We made it through the list. You have no excuse not to teach a class now. All right, 25 is cooking. And these are always popular classes. You don't need to be a world-class chef either. If you like to cook, then pick some easy recipes to teach the kids. It will be a hit, I promise you. You can also do cookie decorating. My son took cake decorating for a couple of semesters. So there's a lot of things that you can do under the umbrella of a cooking class. Oh my goodness, my friends, we have made it, and I hope your creative juices are flowing. You can turn any interest into a fun co-op class. So if you liked these ideas, be sure to sign up for the Thoughts and Musings newsletter. I will leave the link below. And it is where I share exclusive content that can't be seen anywhere else. I am so glad you joined me today. If you want to help spread the word, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember to check out the Life Unboxed store for all of your Mom Boss merch, and you can support the show with coffee. Visit ko-fi.com/lifeunboxedblog to buy some coffee. For more great mompreneur content, follow Life Unboxed on social media or check out lifeunboxed.blog. And be sure to share the podcast and video with your friends. And I will see you in the next show.